You may have heard the saying that the future is in Asia. With a massive landmass, approximately 45 million square kilometers, Asia is by far the largest continent in the world, and it is well ahead of second placed Africa in population as well. More than half of the world's people reside here. Granted, a look at a list of megacities across the world will yield a lot of names from Asia. While not all cities across Asia will be as wealthy as the ones we talk about today, people do know how to get by in the hustle and bustle of these megacities across the continent from Manila to Mumbai. Now I admit that wealth is a fickle term. Anything in economics is really, since there are so many different measures. But for today we'll be looking at the top 5 wealthiest cities in Asia using the measures of GDP per capita adjusted for purchasing power, what we'll call triple P for short. This is probably the best broad-based measure we have available, but here's a quick refresher thanks to Investopedia on what GDP per capita adjusted for purchasing power or triple P means before we jump right into the list. Per capita gross domestic product (GDP) is a financial metric that breaks down a country's economic output per person and is calculated by dividing the GDP of a nation by its population. In our case, you can replace nation by city, so what exactly does adjusting for triple P mean, and why do we adjust the GDP per capita? Well, once again, as Investopedia the Wise tells us, one popular macroeconomic analysis metric to compare economic productivity and standards of living between countries is purchasing power parity, PPP. PPP is an economic theory that compares different countries' currencies through a basket of goods approach. Triple P allows for economists to compare economic productivity and standards of living between countries. Some countries adjust their gross domestic product (GDP) figures to reflect triple P. Once again, in our case, you want to think of cities instead of countries, so without further ado, let's get this list cracking. In number 5 of the wealthiest cities in Asia, we have Osaka Kobe, a metropolitan area in the Kansai region of Japan under the Kyoto prefecture that boasts a GDP triple P close to $700 billion. Many people don't talk about Osaka Kobe much except for tourists, that have been there and are dying to tell you, and those rare beef enthusiasts. If you know, you know. Unsurprisingly, this is the second largest metro region in Japan after Tokyo Metro and home to close to 20 million people, with Osaka and Kobe hosting 4 million plus themselves. The economic production of this Osaka Kobe metro region in Japan is higher than a lot of countries that are economic powerhouses on their own right, as you see here in this exhibit. Remember, a GDP of 700 billion is massive. So how did Osaka Kobe rise to such economic prominence despite being in ruins in the wake of World War II, when the region and country was in shambles? See, Japan is an ancient empire, and the region where Osaka Kobe exists, history runs deep. But we only have so much time today in this video, so let's stick to the last couple centuries. Osaka Kobe happens to sit at the center of a massive industrial zone known as the Hanshin Industrial Zone, evolving from its role as an early central textile hub a few centuries back to its modern role for chemical products, electronics, shipbuilding, metallurgy, machinery, and much more. Not to mention, Osaka Kobe hosts the largest trading port in the country of Japan, the second largest financial center in the country behind Tokyo Metro, of course. All this is enough to attract major global banks as well as host the city's own stock exchange. And to boot, Osaka Kobe is home to the largest wholesale trade in the country, known for its merchants since the imperial era. According to Britannica, yes, that fancy dictionary with all those terms, Osaka merchants are famous to greet each other in the morning here with the phrase, "Are you making money?" So it goes without saying people in this place know how to build wealth. Given the city's prowess, over 100 international corporations call Kobe their home, building their headquarters right in the city. We're talking about recognized heavyweights across industries such as Eli Lilly, ASICS, Mitsubishi, Kawasaki, P&G, and many more. Moving up our list, in 4th place we have the city of Beijing with a GDP triple P of almost $1 trillion. Yes, that's trillion with a T. Now this is a city you probably have heard of before given the rapid rise of China in the 21st century. This megacity is the present capital of China and boasts well over 20 million people and a long history spanning millennia. A quick fun fact, Beijing is the most populous national capital in the world. While Beijing can make a lot of claims such as being the admin, cultural, military, economic, and so on and so forth capital of China, today the focus is really on its economic prowess as the fourth wealthiest city in all of Asia. Without surprise, it is the billionaire capital of the world, hosting more billionaires than London, Dubai, Mumbai, and other well-known cities that you may think of, second only to New York as per Forbes. So how did Beijing get its dollars up? Well, the answer is complicated, but state-owned enterprises helped a lot in producing well over 50 Fortune 500 companies. That's like almost 10% that call the city their home. The likes of PetroChina, Bank of China, JD China, and of course ByteDance, the parent company of this app called TikTok, which all the youngins seem to be on all the time. The GDP of Beijing grew many folds in recent years due to state-controlled planning enforcing market measures to turn the place into a post-industrial economy where most of the production is happening in the secondary and tertiary value-added sector. That just means a lot of non-farming activities are going on there. Also add on that no taxation, tax regulations being lax, and a massive workforce to fill in those factories and plants, and a ton of special economic zones around the city. The place really had all the ingredients to become the factory of the world. And when all that money is being made from all those factories, where do the managers and the owners, as well as local politicians who made a few bucks here and there, being so close to the CCP, go on to purchase the finest and most expensive goods and service domestically that money can buy? You guessed it, Beijing. Talking about China and its economic muscles, in third place of the wealthiest cities in Asia, we have Beijing's competitor, another Chinese megacity of global standards, Shanghai, with a GDP triple P of $1 trillion and some change. So what's the difference between the two really? Well, in simple terms, while Beijing was made to serve as an admin capital, Shanghai serves as the business capital of China. Well, Beijing still has, some of those historic vibes, thanks to its reputation as the forbidden city, like the Great Wall and all that. Shanghai was built to be modern with gleaming skyscrapers. The leadership of Shanghai in the production of chemicals, metals, and heavy machinery has been crucial to the come up of China and the metro region itself. Not to mention a historically leading textile and machinery industry that has been here for centuries, and its recent development as a global finance hub. The big players like HSBC, Standard Chartered all maintain a presence in Shanghai. Another quick fun fact, actually, the S in HSBC stands for Shanghai. It's not just the banks, but any multinational corporation that wants a foothold in China has a regional headquarters out here, attracting all the big global brands. In fact, the China Daily reported that Shanghai is home to over 700 big multinationals from across the world, accounting for billions in FDI, foreign direct investment. Now combine that with a robust manufacturing and services sector, Shanghai is one of the most competitive business cities not only in Asia, but in the world. Moving now to the very top of our list today, in second place of wealthiest cities in Asia, we have Seoul, the capital of South Korea, with a GDP triple P of a hefty 1.1 trillion. The rise of Korea, particularly Seoul, is nothing short of astounding considering what they achieved in a few short decades. The rise of Seoul is comparable, say, to the likes of Singapore, which is maybe another topic for another day. The Seoul-Incheon Metro is a key player in turning the largely agricultural economy of South Korea into an advanced post-industrial powerhouse in a matter of short 60 years, driven by export economy. This is rather impressive given the lack of natural resources endowed in the Korean peninsula, so the region and nation invested heavily into R&D, research and development, more so than any other place on earth, really. But you see, getting to a stage to make these investments worthwhile required working on the human resources available through a very intense education system to nurture skilled workers who can make high-tech experts in the first place to serve the whole world, from chips in your cell phone to the best video game players out there. In Seoul Incheon, highly skilled workers come to find well-paying jobs with a GDP per capita well over 50,000 USD. in IT, natural sciences, business services, finance, admin services, transport, and other related sectors that are vital to the modern tech nation. As a result, some of the largest and most successful multinationals in the world today call the Seoul Incheon urban region their home. From Samsung Electronics to Hyundai Motors to LG Electronics, chances are you're using their goods right now or will do so today. Now we finally come to first place. The wealthiest city in Asia takes us back to Japan once again, to the Tokyo Metro, the single largest producing urban economy on the globe. And yes, Tokyo has a higher GDP than New York, and it's actually the only city with a GDP triple P greater than 2 trillion. Tokyo is a place of legend, and you might already know a lot about it, but what economic factors have helped turn Tokyo so wealthy overall? Now, it goes without saying Tokyo is a global powerhouse when it comes to key sectors powering the world, such as automotives and consumer electronics. Just take a look around the streets where you live or the homes of people around you. How many Japanese brands can you find? Also, historically, similar to Korea, the Japanese were not endowed with many valuable natural resources, so they had to invest heavily into education and R&D in order to create an export-led, highly advanced economy. Along the way, the tragedies and the bombardments of World War II had forced many companies to shift headquarters from Osaka region to Tokyo, and today Tokyo is a S-rated global financial hub, home to the main Japanese stock market and basically all the global banks and business services companies, so no surprise people usually talk about it in the same breath as New York and London. Another thing you probably didn't think of but are significant to the contributions to the Tokyo economy include the tourism sector, all the foreigners coming to experience the urban glitz and glamour, and the ridiculously robust wholesale and merchant economy that exists to this day. Bet you didn't know that the world's largest fish and seafood market is in Tokyo, did you? So there you have it. Not only is Tokyo a piece in the puzzle for that car you're driving, but the fish on your plate too. All these diverse production have helped make it quite wealthy and a hub for global business. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to support the channel by subbing, liking the video, and leaving a comment. Yes, I do read them. This is Tahmid signing out. I hope to see you on the next video.